Hello, this is World Random News, and today we're going to learn about napalm. So, you want to know the basics of napalm. In 1965, a chemical company called Doe Company was best known to make saran wrap. But during the Vietnam War, they were asked to make napalm. As Mark Greenslide explains, that napalm was this hideous gel gas burning at 2,000 Fahrenheit. It didn't just kill you, it was able to torture you. It has a complete reference to Zyklon B. The gas they would use in the composition campsite felt like it was a chemical war format at its worst. The first documentation of napalm was actually in 1942. During this time, it was actually being helped make by chemists. As the names of the chemists I could not find, or I was probably just too lazy to find it. As the actual use of napalm was actually in 1944, as the military used bombers that could carry napalm at that time. They would normally use this to kill or displace the offenders or where the weapon systems that could be trailed. Here's a list of what napalm was used during wars, as they were used in World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam War, and some other conflicts that actually, unfortunately, had to do with some civilians and other means. So next, I'll be talking about is some weapons that were used in Vietnam. As some I will talk about more, and others I will just mention them because I either thought they were cool, really stupid looking, or they used napalm. First weapon we'd be talking about is the M50 Ontos. As the M50 Ontos was an American light armored, tracked anti-tank vehicle that was developed in the 1950s. As it ended service in 1969. The next weapon we'd be talking about is the M56 Scorpion, as this tank was in mass production during 1953 and ended in 1959, as soon after the Sheridan light tank took over. As the next weapon we'll be talking about is the M72 Law, as this is a light anti-tank weapon that you can fire on your shoulder, as it's based off of the Panzerfaust and the American M1 bazooka, as this weapon was used during the Vietnam era and during World War II era. The next weapon we're talking about is actually a plane. The F-100D was a part of the 352 Tactical Fighter Squadron, as they dropped a napalm bomb near Bae Hua of South Korea. Also known as the Super Sabres, they could carry a impressive amount of artillery of weapons including high explosive bombs, napalm rockets, cluster bombs, even guided pulpal missiles. As now we're going to get into the counterclaim of napalm, as it's going to include the chemical compound, how to treat, effects on humans, and some additional information about flammable liquid. As words that I'm probably going to butcher terribly are going to be put on the screen, as they're mainly going to be medical words. So, the effects on humans may alter the mental states of the person, from base effects and enduring head trauma up to oxysternia, carbon monoxide, or dioxide toxicity. The skin, if it has napalm on it, can cause severe skin damage that can cause multi-organ failure and death. As the words should be on the screen as I say this. How to treat napalm will be listed on the screen as I say this, as there will be multiple ways to do it. As any dry or chemical exposing agents from former agents that also works in closed space, CO2 and horns will work by displaying the atmosphere oxygen needed to sustain the composition. Next we'll be talking about is the chemical compound of napalm, as it burns the same amount as flammable liquid, which is the flash point is at or below 199.4 Fahrenheit or 93 Celsius, as the combustible liquid flash point is above or working normal working temperature of 37.8 to 193.3 Celsius, also known to 100 to 200 Fahrenheit. As if you were to come in contact with napalm, the thickness of burns of large surface area contact will result in rapid loss of blood, loss of consciousness, and even death. As napalm can also produce localized areas of high carbon dioxide, as the carbon dioxide is of 4% that can cause death, and approximately near 20% contained areas near burning napalm can rapidly deoxidize, resulting in loss of consciousness and death in a couple minutes, but also oxidation surface exposure. As if you to ignite napalm, it may cause mild skin irritation similar to a gasoline explosion. No existing of gasoline of a napalm, but the treatment would be advised to get it if you were ever to light it. This is the law portion of napalm. As in 1980, it was banned to use against civilians, as there's a national law saying you can't use this against civilians, and as the name should be up on the screen. As you cannot make it or own it if you're a civilian, and you also cannot create bombs based off of napalm and all the stuff that has napalm in it if you're a civilian. You can use it in the battlefield. It is not outright banned from the Convention Convention. And main thing, if you're a civilian, you cannot use it because it's against the law. But there's also something about it, like your country or local state or whatever, or rules about it. This is the end of the documentary. Also, there's a lot of mispronunciations of places, things, or even medical information, or even laws and stuff, as those should have been put up on the screen, and if not, then I'm most likely for that. But I hope you have a fabulous, wonderful day, and I hope you learned something new.